Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Random Shit. I got the Manic Genius in the building. Got Mel up in here. Got Phil waking up. And we got Erica in the building. So how's everybody doing? Look at Erica. Got her hair did down there. Shout out to Erica.
Erica's outside.
So before we jump into these topics and stuff, I wanted to circle back. So Erica, you ready for the counter, the Taylor Swift counter? You said what's the deal? Like, what, we gotta take a drink every time we see her in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, every time they show her on camera at the Super Bowl, take a sip of something and see if you sober by halftime. How about that?
Okay. We gonna do this. I'm gonna make sure I do that. But make sure y'all, Erica gonna have y'all out here getting DUIs and shit. You better make sure you at the house.
Yeah.
Drink responsibly.
But you said she announced her record at the, what was it, the Grammys or?
At the Grammys, she announced that she's dropping an album.
Oh.
So Taylor out here promoting.
Mm-hmm.
Not a whole album. Yeah, it's about to be a rap.
Which they also are saying, based on the title of the album, that it is connected to her most recent ex in some way, shape, or form. Which also speaks back to me saying that this is her brand. This is what she does.
This is her brand.
She is the breakup artist. Wasn't that a movie or something?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my man.
But I mean,
Travis.
that is some businesses though, because it's some business that their business is going out of business. They always have a going out of business sale, but they never go out of business. So
you ain't lying. I seen one furniture store. They literally had that sign up for like 5 years. I'm like, man, how long they selling this shit?
Right.
So, yeah, that's true. But all right, we'll go ahead. We'll jump into the first topic. So the first topic today, we're going to discuss the modern versus traditional, debate. This has been going on for some time now that, if you're traditional, modern, modern being bad, traditional being the way to go. So I definitely wanted to pick your guys' brains on this topic and see, where you guys kind of land and what do you guys think about this whole topic anyways? Because, I definitely have my thoughts on it, but let me go around real quick and I'll just start. So would you consider yourself modern or traditional? And then the follow-up is why. And I'll start with Phil on this. Look at Phil.
Keep you real quick. Come back to me.
Okay, I got you. We'll start with Mel I Run. Would you consider yourself modern or traditional and why?
I'm modern because everything in my life is modern. I will say that just as far as technology and how much easier it is, I'm definitely modern. However, modern I might get too deep in my explanation. Why? I'll just leave it at that, and then I can go deeper into it when we come around for the next question.
Okay. I got you. But you consider yourself modern?
Yes.
All right, cool. Erica, would you consider yourself modern or traditional and why?
I'm modern, but I still have beliefs in some things being traditional.
Oh, okay.
But overall, I guess if whatever the definition of a modern woman is, I guess that would be me.
All right, no doubt. All right, Phil, would you consider yourself modern or traditional and why?
Definitely modern. Because I had to actually look up exactly what the whole topic was, and like I would say looking at the whole thing is I'm more of a neutral person. I'm not like I'm not like a vibrant type individual. So, and I guess that comes with a set of lifestyles. I'm very calm, cool, and collected. So I'm gonna stay with modern.
Okay. So the Manic Genius, would you consider yourself modern or traditional and why?
I am definitely modern. Modern just means up to date with the times. And if you have the ability to adapt under any circumstances, you're going to be modern. Traditional had its time was in the past, and you can have traditional beliefs but still be up to date with current practices. That's it in a nutshell. I'll go deeper if somebody scratches it or goes a layer deeper.
Okay,
yeah, that's it for me.
that kind of ties into my second question. Oh well, let
Well,
me
hold
go
on,
ahead
hold
and
on.
answer.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you got to answer that. So, Jerk,
Yeah.
Jerk,
So would
would
I
you
consider myself
yourself?
modern or traditional? I'm,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
modern. Yeah, I'm definitely
Okay.
modern. And to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, it's just like, you know, if you're able, I think you're able to adapt and you know, you're embracing like new times and stuff like that. I'm like you know, you should be on the modern side, you know, and we're gonna break it down more, you know, like why does it have a negative connotation and stuff. But let me go ahead and get Scam on here. So Scam, thank you for pulling up. But let me ask you this question: would you consider yourself modern or traditional, and why?
There's no such thing as modern, no such thing as traditional. So if I have to pick a side, give me modern, because tradition is a lie by itself.
Mm,
So give me modern, because it just got to
okay.
stop.
And we're going to expand on that because I like what you were saying. So I want to touch on that. We gonna dig a little deeper. So M3, what's good, man?
What's good, everyone? Thank you for bringing me up
What's
here.
good?
Oh, no
What's up,
problem.
man?
So
Yeah,
M3, let me ask you real quick: would you consider yourself modern or traditional, and why?
man. I like to consider myself as a hybrid, but I'm just gonna put it like this. I have traditional minded mentalities, but because I'm still living in a modern world, I kind of like adapted to it. So things that I would originally would probably do, in my single days, it will be different now. If I was single in the modern world, like my approach, like to talking to people, um, my interactions, especially like there's a lot of technology. So back then traditionally we didn't really have that to rely on, but now we have easy access that we could definitely heavily use. So yeah, that's my answer to it.
Okay, no, I appreciate
I
that. So
respect that. I respect that. I like how you mentioned the hybrid because I think even Erica hit on it a lot. Um, it's there's certain mentality and things in the tradition in the past that just worked, and they're great like concepts to follow. And I think everybody has a little bit of that in them, but you know, with the changes of the time and technology and available resources and supply and demand, everything, like you have to factor it all in. So you just have to be able to adapt.
okay, let me go jump into the second question real quick, and I'm gonna pass it to Dust though because I like where
Yeah,
he
I'm
was
gonna
going.
beat up. I'm gonna be whipping ass all night on tradition. I'm just tell you straight up. Every talking point,
As you should.
everything.
Okay, I got you. So, do you think anyone is even traditional anymore? And I'm going to Dusto first on this. Please go in, Dusto.
They never were. It's nothing but some shame tactic. They were allegedly traditional, which they weren't. They were slaves. They didn't have any critical thinking or adaptability. Don't look left, don't look right, don't ask why. Just do stuff because it's right. All they knew was right, wrong. That ain't right, that's wrong. That's all they knew. So, um, they were also doing a lot of the same very stuff modern people are doing. They just lied, said, "No, we was better." So it's nothing but a shame tactic to beat up the young people for exposing their failure of leadership. But the decent elders will tell the truth. The rest of them, they lying. Bring them to me, and I'm gonna dust them off.
All right, let me go on to Erica. Do you think anyone is even traditional anymore?
Not in the full sense. No, I don't.
Okay.
Not unless you're over the age of 70.
I like how you did that. That was tactful. She went and called them old people, them old bastards. So shout out to you for salvaging their. Let me go ahead and get Mel on this. So, do you think anyone is even traditional anymore, Mel?
From the book definition, it's not possible for anyone of any age to be traditional anymore. It's just not. I mean, even little things like if you go back, when we look at the date period that we talk about when traditional was that they want to go back to when women weren't working, or like they didn't have like again modern day things, like it wasn't it wasn't washing clothes and then putting them in a dryer, folding them, or ironing. Well, we can take stuff to the dry cleaners. We can we don't hang up clothes on the clothesline anymore. Even though when I was growing up, we still use a clothesline, but more homes had washers and dryers, have dishwashers. It's like no way. It's even like little stuff like that. Like nobody uses a well anymore. So it's not like we got to go start doing chores. We got to go get water for the day. We got to do this. We got to do that. It's not. It's no way for anybody to be traditional at this time. Even cell phones. Like nobody writes letters anymore. So yeah, no. It's okay. I don't think it's possible.
All right, let me welcome in here Rush. What's good, Rush? How you been, man?
Been good, man. Just out here grinding, getting to the chicken. You heard?
No doubt, no doubt. So, Rush, let me ask you real quick, man. All right, would you consider yourself modern or traditional?
I would consider myself modern, but traditional at heart. You heard?
Okay. So, do you think anybody is traditional anymore, Rush?
Nah, ain't nobody traditional no more, man. I mean, these streets out here cold. You heard?
So, Rush, you said you get into that chicken like Bojangles?
You already know, you're.
But all right, let me ask. Let me get Phil on there. So, do you think anybody could be traditional anymore, just like based on the definitions?
Absolutely. I've been around the world and I've seen a lot of different things. You guys are solely talking about the United States right now. You're not talking about everywhere else in the world.
I've been around the world too, man. I've been around too. I mean, I used to live in Central America. I get around too. You heard?
So don't they have like grocery stores? They don't have to traditionally like do everything and make everything from scratch.
So being in Africa, right? Okay. What you're describing is what they have to grow, what they can catch, anything. Mm-hmm. So you're speaking on tradition. You guys are only talking about what it is in the U.S. You're not talking about how the rest of the world is operating. You're not. People, what they have to grow traditionally, with how they have to live, how they have to build their own homes. You guys are not thinking about that. You're only talking about the U.S. So this question needs to be broken apart. You got to specifically talk about the U.S. if you're going to talk like that. If this question be that, like, you want to break it down, and you guys are talking about somebody made a point about how it's not possible. It's not. Nobody in this room is old enough to even speak on tradition. You have your book definition. You have what you have seen in history or on TV, but nobody can speak on that. Nobody's old enough to speak on that. So that's my take for right now.
Okay, we're gonna expand on that U.S. versus like overseas a little bit because I like what you said.
Push back there too, but go ahead.
Okay. That's the. Let me get N3 on there. So based on like what we all kind of said in the definitions of M3, do you think like anybody could really be traditional from your take?
See, again, like that's why, like I said, like for myself in the beginning, a person could, be traditional minded, whereas as far as like they could follow some of the principles, probably like what they learned like during, like the past or so. But to be honest with you, it's kind of hard to kind of give that answer because again, it's all in the mindset of how you want to carry yourself. But again, there's so many labels, especially in this modern type of world. I really don't really know what to really give you,
Okay, no. It's definitely like you said. There's layers to this stuff, so we gonna get to it. But let me get Manic, and then I'm gonna go to Dusto for his pushback on that. Cho Minotti in the building. But Manic, do you think anyone is even traditional anymore? As far as the U.S., because Phil is kind of right. There are some places that do operate. You're on mute.
I was going off.
No, you wasn't. You was over there eating them donuts that you had earlier.
I was going off. No, what I was saying when I was muted, there's a lot of different relationship dynamics, even within the U.S. So I think there's absolutely plenty of people who are still traditional in this day and age. And there's people who are living this life. So it's like, if there weren't people out here living this life, we wouldn't be having this conversation. It would just be a theory. But we see people living this life successfully, but it really just goes to, you have to think about, what you want out of life. And if I've heard people who value having as many children as possible. So if you value that, then you are going to take a more traditional approach because there's costs associated with going down that route. And there's plenty sacrifices that will have to be made. So you will need, you know, everybody to be on board. And by that traditional role, the genders are defined. Everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to do. So there are people who live that life. But I just think most people, as we've seen with the panel, everybody literally said it. We're modern because modern relationships allow for more flexibility and equality and, you know, better relationship dynamics and communication. I'm done.
All right. That's the scam likely. What was the pushback?
To what Manic just said. So you're telling me in today's world, they're going to have a whole bunch of kids, 10 kids. Tradition lacked things like critical thinking, decision making, adaptability, 10 personalities. Tradition lacked proper communication because they were cavemen. Men didn't talk to the woman. You do this. It was all survival mode. So all the emotional support, all the neglect, the abuse, all that stuff came from traditionalism. Don't think, don't talk to me, boy. Don't ask me why. You're going to have 10 of those kids in today's world?
I got 13.
And where does money going to come from to fund all these kids?
I got 13 siblings.
But hold on. But this is hold on. The only thing I'm just going to say is
tradition.
All I'm going to say is one thing. Everybody is different, and everybody has their own personalized relationship. And there are absolutely men, and we can find them easily, even on these panels. You've been in the Dustosphere. You know these guys exist.
I got smoke for Manic. I'm with you.
There's people living this life.
Finish him off, jerk.
Nah, there's people living this life.
Let me just say Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Mm-hmm. The only thing tradition covered was food, water, and shelter. Everything else, social, communication, all them standards, no, you're not getting that in tradition. And you see them cavemen on the dust panels that don't even know how to talk to their own self, yelling at the man next to them over the same thing because they ain't even listening. That's what tradition does to people.
I do like what Phil was saying though, because I mean, in other countries where economics is a little...
I was going to push on that too. But go ahead.
But let me because
I'm gonna first look up Maslow's hierarchy of law because I'm not going to speak on something. Hierarchy of needs.
Yeah, he definitely got you on that.
He
was a little stumbled. He was like, "Oh shit!"
No,
I saw you.
I'm gonna look it up before I address it, and I'm gonna break it down for you.
I'll be doing a show on it, just so you know.
All right.
But I like what Phil broke down as far as like different countries because there's different economics. I would say that, you know, traditionally, like they could live off the land and stuff like that. You know, they're not buying into, like, I'll say the society pressures of like having multiple cars, cell phone plans, and I'll say all those different things. So, but I'm with Desto. I don't know who the hell could do that in the United States.
But I mean, even though
in the other countries, they don't have an option. They can't afford it.
Guess who does it in the United States? Guess who does it? The Amish. These niggas are still doing it. That's an entire.
But they do.
The other thing is when you go to other countries,
but they do have
Phil Cook.
No, they do have some modern technologies within the Amish community too. That's what I'm saying. They do have like a hardcore set of certain traditional beliefs, but I don't think it's anywhere where it's completely traditional. Like it's all kind of modern technology. When I say modern technologies, I'm not talking about like cable TV stuff like that. Even a wheel you can say is a modern technology. Even the way that they get their water out of the well can be a modern technology. That's what I mean. It's not like super caveman, like we hitting two rocks together to start a fire.
Okay, bet, right? So somebody said, "Oh, who's having 10 kids? Who's doing that?" The Amish.
I had 13 siblings with me in my house.
All right, got it. You know how many Amish there are in the US alone?
No, I don't want you to know. That's not my business.
Okay. All right, well, Mel got it. Checking, got it. Cool, right, makes sense. Now, I'm simply talking about an entire population of people that you guys are taking out completely. The Amish have that. Their entire life is traditional. Their children have an option at a certain age to leave and or come back. That is a tradition in itself. Period. Now,
Sometimes
who
traditions
I
get
wonder-
options.
That
What's
is a tradition. Like, no, they do have a tradition where when they turn like about between 16 and 18, they go and I forgot what they call it, but they go live on the land like for money that they save from working, and they go live with like wear regular clothes, go out, stuff like that. And it's like what 4 to 6 months, and then they decide to come back to the church or not. Then they could be banished from the church, but then after that they still can come back. But it's like a whole recommitment ceremony to do it if they don't do it initially.
But has that
I
always
like
been
what
the case?
Travel One said. Traditional does still exist. Modern is individual interpretation.
Yeah, tradition needs to be burned.
Shout out to Travel One.
Extinct.
No, it is a tradition, but I would say I'm trying to think. I remember it because I used to watch the Amish show all the time. It started when when the world started changing and they
You talk about the Amish mafia.
Things. That's when like it started. Like, well, when like people got curious? It was like I want to say what the 50. It might have been before the 50s, but it was when like Amish people started seeing more people like come through their land and stuff and being curious. And so the church decided instead of like in a way forcing them to run away to find out about it, give them the opportunity to see if that's the way that they want to live.
Let me
would y'all say that that's more of a modern practice that they're doing?
No, so I'm not saying it's not a matter of practice. I'm saying that in the sense that like, so has everybody in this room been overseas to see how fucked up life can be? Has anybody ever seen that before?
How
Yeah,
effed
I
up
definitely
what can
seen
be?
it.
I would say uncomfortable. I wouldn't say fucked up because it's not fucked up to them. It would be uncomfortable for me because I'm not used to that life.
Right. Just visually see it compared to what your life is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
and they're still happier than Americans. But go ahead.
Good point, Scam.
Right? Taking into account all the places in the world have their own set of traditions. One of the biggest ones is the Asian community. They live solely on tradition. That is an entire country. There's countries that live on a specific tradition.
Yeah,
and
but
they
they're not
abide
the
by those
majority.
rules.
They're not the majority in the United States.
Do they have a choice?
So are we talking
That
about the
makes a
US
big
or are we
difference.
talking about the world? Jerk, correct me. What is it? Jerk, is the world?
We're focusing on US, but I like what you talked about the world. So the world does have like I'll say traditional values and stuff, but with Scam, I think he had pushback is like he's saying
If it's not by choice, then it's not values because they don't necessarily value it. They don't have a choice. When given the choice, you see what people really value. Like I've been to Colombia, Panama, DR just within the last few months. I had these conversations in English and Spanish. That lie that they're telling the passport bros, they traditional over there, it's a damn lie. It's the same thing. And they economically need each other and the relationship dynamic is jacked up. Same talking points almost.
Scam, how you expert on this?
Had the conversations.
I agree with Scam Likely. Panama, they modern too out there, but there is a percentage of people that hold on to the traditional lifestyle of having a nuclear family. But we in the States, man, it is what it is, man. It's cold out here in these streets, man.
Hold on. Nuclear family is not
about vacation spots.
Nuclear family doesn't mean traditional.
I lived in Panama.
No, I'm saying nuclear family is
Africa.
just something that they use to bully.
Colombia, DR.
I'm saying
locations.
traditional people want to bully the modern. So they say that y'all broke up the families and y'all out of control. So they use man and woman and say it's traditional just to pick on them. That's all it is. Man and woman is all since the beginning of time. And man on man and woman on woman, that was since the beginning of time too. They were doing that back then. That's just something they threw out there to pick on them.
Hey, let me get what's up, Prime? My guy Prime in the building. So let me get your take on this real quick. So, we're talking about modern versus traditional, and just to start it off, what would you consider yourself, modern or traditional?
So I would consider myself to be a little bit more traditional. I was raised along the lines of what people would consider Aboriginal. So I grew up in the islands, strong Asian and Polynesian influence. And so I kind of agree with what Bill is saying. For the actual world itself, there's a lot more traditional values. The whole entire argument that Scam Likely was pointing towards that's a Western world thing. Like my previous wife, before my recent wife, she grew up in Costa Rica. We lived in Costa Rica from time to time. I worked out in the oil fields, went back and forth between Texas and Costa Rica. I want to say pretty much all around the South Americas. I can't say for certain, but I can say for the places that I've been to. Been to Chile, been to Ecuador, been to Guyana, Trinidad, Panama Canal, all of it. I would generally say that there's a 90% traditional value. The nuclear home is predominantly a clear thing around the whole entire world, and only the Western world and any kind of second gen country. So for the top G20 countries, that's where you see the huge Western influence, the whole entire argument about not having a nuclear home or both parents working in the household. That is something that is still new. It's less than 50 years old. And so that's just my opinion on it.
I mean, that's direct opposition of Scam Likely's point. But
no, how did the traditional people just throw it up?
I agree with you, Brian.
That marriage is traditional.
You know, they got that Western joy popping off out there too. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying that there is no Western influence in the areas. Of course, there's always going to be Western influence anywhere America has their fingers.
Keep going, keep eating.
The anywhere America has their fingers. Like for me, like I work in corporate America, and we out of all the companies that we work with that are outside of America, like there's always going to be American influence. There's always going to be that Western influence, and this is the whole entire argument that like people like Putin have, people in Palestine have. Like these are the exact same arguments that they're trying to target. Is that hey, the Western influence has their fingers in everything, and it's convoluting the traditional nuclear family assessment that we have that has worked for year over year over year over year, generation after generation after generation after generation. It's like if you look at all of the families that have world and global influence, they started with the traditional value home set. It's like you don't see old money with new age problems that we deal with today in the West. It's like all of the old money that we're used to seeing in control has dealt with and has come from the traditional values of nuclear home sets. Like that's what we have to understand. I'm not doubting the cause of America having influence or the West having influence. The West will always have influence because they're the economic power, they're the military power, they're pretty much the media power. That's what we all know today. But to say that most of the world deals with non-traditional values, so like that's a little out of pocket. I mean, there's like you can go anywhere in Asia and everything's traditional. You can go anywhere in Europe. They're still they might be liberated, they might be liberal in certain terms, like places like Germany, France, the Netherlands, like the Scandinavians. All of these people, they're liberal in a sense, but they still have traditional home set values. And so it's like, go ahead.
Let me ask you something real quick, because I agree with you, because like just traveling around, I've been a lot of places too, and like you said, you could see that. But I think what Scam might be getting to is like, if you talk to people, you get on the ground and you're talking to like say people in those countries that's more traditional, and you ask them if they would want like the modern conventions and stuff like that. Just being honest, do you think they would what like a more like a advanced lifestyle as far as like technology and things like that?
Oh yeah, 100%. The way that I see it is that a lot of places, what they actually want is they want modern problem solving aspects while still keeping traditional values. A really good example of this is Japan and South Korea. Like a lot of people have the argument of you can't mix culture and technologies, but you can. Japanese have proved this time and time and again for the past 100 years. Same thing with South Korea. South Korea has proven this ever since the war with North Korea. And so Singapore, they're another country. Singapore has done this time and time again. They have the world's most advanced architectural technologies around the world. Now the UAE is doing the same thing. Like look at the cities that they're trying to build. Look at what Saudi Arabia is doing. They have all of that oil money, but yet they still have the traditional values, even though they might be liberal at heart or liberal on a stance. They still follow those traditional values because the tradition is what's going to get them through it. So that way their children can indulge on the liberal aspects of life.
I think
See,
this
I
is
think
rigged.
this is all
This is
getting
rigged.
like kind of, this is all like starting to not make sense. It's all like getting
If it doesn't
twisted
make
up.
sense, that
Like
means
this-
you're part of the problem.
No,
Like
no.
that's the problem.
I'm
If it
talking
doesn't
about
make
the
sense,
way
that means you're part of the problem.
I'm saying the way that the questions are being constructed versus like, okay, so this is the thing. I feel like a lot of people believe when you say modern, you're negating certain traditions or certain things that used to go on in a home. And I think that's where we're getting off the map with this whole thing. We're not saying that, like I said, everybody is afraid to say modern or be modern or anything. But in this day and time, we do live in a space where we can have those modern technologies and still live under a traditional life. Like a mom can still be modern in a sense that she can go to work, but she still can take care of the kids at home. We can be modern that we drive cars and we don't have a horse and carriage, but you can still go to the grocery store. Like I feel like this whole thing is, yeah, we're talking about the whole world and how people live, but that still goes to the same thing that you said, Prom. They still live under traditional values, but at the same time, we're living on a modern spectrum of how we live our way of life. Nobody churns butter anymore. We go to the grocery store. I mean, people do churn butter.
Hold on, let me get Erica in
the
the
everyday
Oh,
thing.
my butter's churned.
I was gonna say that's not an everyday thing, but granted, in some cases, some people do enjoy doing things like the old way. Like I still enjoy gardening, going out there, even when I go back home, I enjoy gardening. But I wouldn't say I want to do it by hand like I did when I was little. Now that we have a tiller or a tractor, so I mean, it is some things that are traditional that we like to do, but at the same time, there are modern advances. And when I go back home, everything's the same. I got my mom, I got my dad, I got my siblings. That stuff is the same. We still live under a traditional way of life, the way that we did everything. We just don't run a farm like we used to when I grew up because we don't have to at this point. Like, I don't understand, like, why it's such a debate and why it's such a
then
like
where exactly is
modern.
the convolution at?
Everywhere.
Hold on, let me. I'm gonna circle back to that. Let me get Erica real quick. She got her hands up like she's in school and stuff. Shout out to Erica, following protocol and stuff.
I'm about to turn this hand into a fist. It's Black History Month.
Oh yeah,
About to get deep, so excuse me. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I think, first of all, there's two separate conversations happening here about modern traditionalism. I think you all are right when you were talking about other cultures in other parts of the world and how they operate in their traditional ways. America, you are absolutely correct, does not operate in that way because we were not a country that was built on our cultural traditions. So there's really no other way for us to still be operating in American tradition unless we're still in shackles. There's just no way.
That is true.
So I don't even think that we can even compare America to what's happening elsewhere because, yes, they are living in their traditional ways, which makes sense because that is how I feel God intended us to be in our rightful places where we can operate on that tradition. But unfortunately, in this country, we don't have that opportunity. So the only way for us to even be on here on this lovely World Wide Web we're on right now, we can't operate in that same traditional sense. So we've got to separate it a little bit, a lot.
No, I think actually the conversation goes together. Y'all gotta see. We're gonna get there because I like what Prime was kind of highlighting, especially if you go to like South Korea, Japan. They're mixing the technology with traditions, and that's what we kind of said before where we were saying it because I'm modern, and I know Erica and everybody pretty much went around and it's just like, hey, we're modern, but we do hold on to some of the traditional values. So I think that's where like we could bridge that gap. But let me get M3 in there. We'll circle back and start breaking that down.
Yeah, I just want to say, Erica, I definitely agree with you. But Prime also and Phil also agree with you guys too, as far as like excuse me, in a cultural aspect. But yeah, again, if we're going back and we're singling, to the United States, yes, it is like a modern country. And year after year, there's always going to be something new. There's always going to be some type of agenda. There's always going to be some type of, how should I say this? Maybe a fad or something where it's like you see somebody's doing something and now you want to follow suit. Nothing is really at this point in the United States is fully traditional when it comes to like lifestyle aspects. But however, again, if when it comes down to relationships, even though it is a choice that you could either like operate in a way like how everyone's operating today, or you could operate or still try to operate in this modern world in a classical type of way. You can still try to, or like I said, you could be a hybrid and still just try to take little bits and pieces from what you learned or what you saw from your families before you and try to emulate that into certain relationships because you can still find someone that still actually believes in, being one as a unit, having families, still conducting themselves like ladies, still conducting themselves like gentlemen, you know. But again, while you're still trying to uphold and emulate certain traditional patterns in relationships, you're still going to have to somewhere adapt to some modern aspects that goes around.
All right, let me get Scam in here. It look like he got some smoke for some of us.
Yeah. Here's what the traditionalists did, is the biggest lie. They were out of control since the beginning of time. They do what they want to do. Then they go and find what people are doing now and say that ain't traditional. That's what you modern people are doing. It was under their leadership. They're the ones who taught people how to do it. So what they're doing is just saying, oh, this family together is tradition. No, it isn't. What? Y'all people out of there doing whatever. No, it's because the tradition failed, because it was a lie. And like Erica said, shackles and whatever. If you keep going back in time, you'll see, especially in America, there was no system. There was no community. There was nothing. It's just people trying to make it and doing what they want to do. That's how we got here. Somebody wanted something, some more money and something, so they went and got us over here. They was beating their wives, cheating, doing everything. Here came feminism. This is go back to femicide in 1910. They keep going back in history. You're going to keep seeing the same versions of the same thing. So honestly, what is tradition? Sodom and Gomorrah?
Hey,
femicide? Beating your wives? Women can't get a bank account? Slavery? What is tradition? The same bad behavior? So if we're going to take the bad, but then they say, oh, technology, we want that because these people ain't throwing their cell phones out the window. But they saying, oh, well, I'm still traditional. But hold on a minute. I'm traditional, but I'm answering the cell phone. So it's nothing but picking. Now, picking and choosing is traditional. Making up anything and trying to force out your belief on whatever, yeah, that's traditional. That is. And the other thing I was going to say is the influence across the world. Give them a choice. Because in Colombia, Panama, some of these places, they don't know what America's really got going on. They really don't. It's a behavior thing. You put people in certain situations, give them options, man and woman, nature will show you who people really are. That's any country, unless they're extremely colonized. But given choice, you'll see who people really are. Fair choice. That's all I got. Dustin Crust.
Let me get Manic on there real quick. So what was you about to say, Manic?
Nah, I was just gonna say that's why I believe there is that tradition still, because people like to use words and hide behind the definitions and create their own definitions and redefine things. So I think when I hear the word traditional, I don't necessarily just think exactly what happened in the past. I think of how modern society's interpretation of the past was. So it's just like, hey, this is what I want. This is how life should be. And this is what I'm calling traditional. And it's actually not traditional.
So you're saying like people are redefining traditional based on like the current times. So pretty much like we're going to be like, y'all not traditional to the like younger group eventually.
Yeah. Because everybody's going to have their own interpretation of it. So it's just like traditional. It's not even traditional. It's just what everybody, with certain people try to sit back and define it. So everybody's trying to redefine words. It's you know.
All right. Yeah. So you kind of messed up my new line of questioning, but I got a new one off y'all. So do y'all think like we're like using the words like modern, traditional is this bad period? Where we probably need to move from that. And I think we're having that discussion the other day where we were talking about that.
May I interject real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Rush.
Yeah, my thoughts on modern is sufficient because of due to some of the social engineering that goes on in mass media, it has changed our social construct. For example, the whole Transformers movement, it's more acceptable. People dating multiple people is more acceptable. And dark culture is implemented into our social construct too. So yeah, I mean, the word modern plays a strong role with our society. You know what I mean?
But is that modern or just like Scam said, bad behavior?
Because
new. Like
that's not
like a laser that could fix your heart and stuff. That's modern. That ain't bad. So are we just like using the word terminology, the wrong terminology based on like I think what Manic and Scam was kind of outlining versus
all those things that they're saying they're doing, the very people saying it were doing it, and they're mad because they can't get a piece of it. Pastors were cheating on their wives when I was a kid. They were doing it when my parents were kids. There were hoes, there was drugs, there were people doing everything since the beginning of time.
Yeah, I agree. But from back then, it wasn't the majority. Yeah, you had a few pastors stepped around.
Sodom and Gomorrah was the majority.
It wasn't a majority. You know what I mean?
It absolutely was a majority. We just didn't see it because we didn't have access to the technology that we have now. Also, I feel like modern, traditional, these are just talking points and buzzwords that came about when the pandemic and everybody was bored sitting at home watching Kevin Samuels. It's stupid, it's lame, and let's get rid of it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
What makes Kevin Samuels lame?
I will not even go down that rabbit hole.
I could go down there if you want me to.
I think a lot of his pointing was on.
The first point is when somebody said something about people not listening. I never said Kevin Samuels was lame. I said using those words is lame. So let's start there with.
That's insinuating that the man was lame. But if that's not what you meant, I apologize. My bad for assuming.
The whole internet is talking about modern and traditional. He's not the only one, and he's not the first one. He just had a little snippet of a brand that just blew up out of nowhere. He wasn't the only one that was preaching those same things. He just had a cute
reason why it's so popular and such a talking point is because of him and his followers. And I see that Rush must have been one of his constituents.
Hold on. I'm sucker free. You know what I mean? That's it.
That's the sucker free boss right there. That's Rush, man. Tell Rush they better stop playing with your name.
You better let them know.
Big difference, man. It's a big difference for somebody that's claiming to be with MGTOW and holding on to that red pill ideology. I'm different from that. I'm just sucker free. You ain't gonna catch me doing no sucker shit out here.
Rush funny. But yeah, no. So just going back, I do think like because I was going to ask you guys earlier, like why did modern get like a negative connotation?
Because they think when you say modern, that means you're stepping out of a role that we traditionally think of, like a man and a woman. They loop in modern with like say sometimes feminism, and that a woman doesn't have to and is not going to cook and clean and take care of her house and children. A man is not going to provide and be a protector and stuff like that. They just took modern like we're stepping all the way out of what a lot of people was normal for us, or what we saw. This like we just changed it all the way around. Modern, throw away everything else that we've ever saw, and it's not that. It's just that we live in a world where things are different. They had to grow. They had, like, even inflation. It's rarely any household now that can survive, especially with kids, with one income. Rarely. But if somebody will look at it and be like, oh, well, traditionally the man provides. That's really not how reality how it works. And then even with technology, if you wanted to say modern and traditional, I know it's hard being a stay-at-home mom, but sometimes you do run out of shit to do because stuff is easier to do now. I got a steam mop. I didn't have a steam mop growing up. I mopped regular, but now I got a steam mop. I got a damn Roomba. I ain't got to sweep all the floors. I turn
Shout out to Mel Steam Mop.
Yeah, so it doesn't take me all day to do the stuff I have to do in the house because of modern technologies. That does not mean I won't do it or I don't do it. And I think when people see that, it's like, oh, it's just like a whole different, everything's turned around, everything's different. It's not that. Modern is just what it is. Modern with how we live. That does not mean that those roles or those expectations between you and your spouse are out the window because you're in a modern relationship. Like, it's not 2024.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let me get M3 in there real quick. Go ahead, M3.
Yeah, because I got to get ready to go in a minute. I think the problem is that, like, a lot of people, they just take everything to the extreme. So if you're traditional, they'll be like, oh man, like, you're a slave and you're this and that. If you're modern, then they're gonna be like, oh, you're lazy or you're a whore. You don't want to, like, cook clean. You're like Cardi B or whatever in that, WAP song or whatever. So you're going to always be heavily judged, and it's not going to be fair, but that's just the way it is, especially, like, when we get on these panels, these streams, and people on the internet, are going to over exaggerate over, like, the little and dumbest stuff. I just say, look, whatever you are, you live the life accordingly that works for you. Whether if you want to claim to be, the T or the M, okay? So that's my only intake into that.
I appreciate that, man. And thanks for pulling up. He's got M3's got roll out. They got a show going on, him and Stan tonight. What y'all talk about tonight, man, before you roll out?
So yeah, so for, like, our segment, man, like, our mental health for men, tonight's topic is going to be like, do you cry? And if so, why? And so we're going to really break down into that for the psyche of men. And of course, a lot of men are going to probably say, like, they don't cry, or, they don't feel the liberation to let down. So we're going to just break that stuff down and try to, shed some light to it.
Oh, no doubt, man. It seems
Yeah,
like it's
tradition means you can't cry. So,
Oh man, see,
colonization from tradition. We'll beat up on tradition all night, just so you know. I ain't gonna stop.
Hey, you do you, Scan.
All right,
peace out, M3.
All right,
peace out, man. Thanks for pulling up again.
All right, later, guys. All right, peace.
But I kind of like what M3 was pointing at, and I think we're kind of heading to that direction. So do y'all think, like definitely, I know we all kind of said we should probably start shedding them words as far as, like, modern, traditional, and I know, like, Scam was talking about, like, just focus on good and bad behavior versus that. But do you think, like, people should just pretty much take, like, a hybrid approach, pull from some of the traditional values that worked, and then I guess embrace, like, adapting, like, moving with society as it advances?
Say burn it all.
You said burn it all?
Yeah. I'm gonna explain it. Tradition is actually I'm Christian, so whatever religion y'all believe, I get it. How can I say it? I'm trying to make it simple, not hog the mic. There's core values that work, and they're basic and they're simple. But people decided to customize and interpret three things that destroy people: shame, which is emotional abuse; whoopings and beatings, which is corporal punishment, which is physical abuse; and neglect. These things damage the actual brain, interrupting thought process and critical thinking, especially during the youngest ages, which colonizes people. These are the same practices when they were taking over towns in the Bible days, when they were taking over towns. Same thing with war, same thing with slavery, and same thing parents are doing to their kids. So it's interruption of people having a choice or being able to think for themselves is you actually saying, I'm going to think for you. And the only thing you need to know is right and wrong. And then you're the one who defines what right and wrong is. You the colonizer. So traditional equals right. Everything else equals wrong. But the dictators get to choose what goes in there. So there's somehow a fictional community that has some kind of standard that I still ain't never seen for man and woman, because they ain't never taught relationship skills. I ain't seen it. But just be married or do whatever it is that we say, the way we say do it, or wrong. Or here comes the shame, insults, guilt, dust, crust, and everything. Then I got to go on their panels and go 1 on 8 and flip the whole panel upside down.
Okay. What about you, Prime? Do you think like moving forward, people should like, drop the terminology and we should just focus on like kind of what Scam's saying, like right from wrong, and say for example, like you got your shit together, I should be like, regardless what label we would have stabbed, I'd be like, Prime got his shit together, he got good outcomes. Should I just embrace what he does a little bit, take what I can?
So a lot of people actually ask me this question, and the way that I see it is more along the lines of, I think it comes down to semantics, because it's like, when Scam was talking about, traditional is right, I don't believe that for 1 second. The way that I look at traditional is for the actual context of what the verbiage actually is. And I think that that's where the semantic change comes into play. With modern society and traditional society, like if you actually just break down the terminology itself, tradition is just something that's long established, something that's been established. That's all tradition is. It has nothing to do with technology, nothing to do with culture. Now, the cultural influence, that's when it becomes systemic, okay? So your definition of tradition is influenced by the cultural systemic that you have, the cultural, your upbringing. So in my culture, if you were to say traditional, I mean, if you can't live out in the wilderness for more than 5 days, then you're a piece of shit. You have nothing to offer to the village that you come from. And it doesn't matter what you do about it. If you can't survive out in the wild for more than 5 days, there's nothing good going for you. And so it's like when you look at the actual terminology of tradition and modern, all modern is just things that are happening today, right now. And we can change that. So I think that people try to put modern in a box and put tradition in a box, because 50 years from now, whatever's modern today will become tradition, whatever stuck around. So like phones, for instance, right? Everybody who, I'm assuming everybody on the panel grew up previous to the 90s. How many people knew what it was like to log on to your guys' computer, if you guys even had a computer? How many people knew that you couldn't go on the computer if somebody was on the phone because it would cut out the phone line? Like, how many people knew that it took 3, 4, 5 minutes for dial-up to connect you to the internet? That is what I would consider traditional, because it was something that was established for such a long time that was generally accepted. And then it's like when you look into modern age, it's everything that's currently happening right now. Not necessarily something that is established, but just stuff that is currently happening. And so the way that I see it is it really does come down to semantics. It really does come down to the systemic. And a lot of people like to put systemic into a negative box. Systemic is just things that are happening because of what society is doing. And then when it comes down to the semantic influence, it's just because of the culture that you're uplifted in. And it's like, I could have played the whole entire, I'm a minority of the minorities and I don't have a chance out here. And, my people were, my people had slaves. My people had this. My people had that. I could have used that, but I chose not to. I chose to go the progressive route, but it still didn't change the traditional aspects inside of my life that I like to hold dear to myself. And so I think that people just need to focus on educating themselves on the verbiage and terminology that they're actually going to be using, instead of just using it as a buzzword and then blaming society because it's used as a buzzword. It's like when you use the terminology in the correct context, and you actually mean what you're saying, you can get your point across without anybody having. If you're offended, then that's a you problem.
Yeah, I like what you kind of said, but I just the reason why I wanted to have this discussion because it's just, a lot of people do want to, like you kind of said, box people in with the modern and traditional, and it's just like modern really ain't bad, like you said, if you look at it, it just, I think within like even words, there's other words where like that's where scam was getting at. It's like, man, is it good or bad? There's two sides to everything, and I think that's where people need to get a little more depth in the conversations, and that's why I wanted to have it with y'all, because everybody's pretty balanced.
Yeah, of course. And M3 made a really good point where it's like people do go to the extremes with it. It's like just like red pill is a really good example, like, and feminism is a really good example. Like I'm pretty young, and my parents are boomers, whereas most of my friends' parents they're Gen Xers or even millennials, and so like my parents are really old, and so. My mom, she went through the whole entire feminist age through the 60s and 70s. Both of my parents did. My parents also knew what it was like to grow up in apartheid. And it's like not a lot of people have that experience. And so it's like, is that tradition? Would that be considered tradition? Because that's how they grew up. That was well established then. They grew up during the Jim Crow laws. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, my parents could have used that to, cry wolf, so to speak. I'm not trying to negate their experience in life and the stuff that they had to deal with back then. But what I'm trying to target here is that regardless of like the negativities or the positivities, it's like what we have to understand is tradition, all it is stuff that has been well established. The nuclear family was something that was well established regardless of slavery or not. It was the traditional family that brought America up. That's what I'm trying to get at. It was the tradition in having the nuclear family that brought the Black community together. I mean, look at all of the Moors history. Look at all of everything that was lifted up out of the South. How do you think the Underground Railroad came into action? It was because of the nuclear families that were trying to get out of it. And it was only then that they were able to actually make something happen. It's the same thing that happened to my culture. It was only the nuclear families that were able to actually make something happen because there was a certain bar that had to be met and to install that traditional value, which then was considered modern because it was considered progressive.
Then it was considered modern. I like those words.
Yeah.
Because then it wasn't traditional. It was modern.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means tradition is fake.
Yeah, it all comes into context. So when you're using it in the correct context, then the whole entire mindset changes.
Yeah, but to go back, your definition, how can I say it? A lot of them know me, so they know the version of tradition that I'm beating up on.
Yeah.
Because I come from dust panels.
Okay.
But some of what you're saying is a little bit different. But if you talk about like the Black family, the nuclear family, a lot of this, the family has been jacked up since the beginning of time. Man and woman in every country has been jacked up. That tradition that they're taking credit for and throwing it on the modern, nah.
You know,
because I think that's what I have some pushback on, and we were talking about it the other day, Prime. Like we were talking about it. I just honestly, I think we're a little more advanced than like if we look back at some of our, and not in a bad way, where it's like we know we're learning way more things. You can still apply principles and values, but you could do things differently and stuff like that. And I think that's where like. People need to start kind of focusing on instead of like, I think that's where scam like is kind of honing in on, because like when you start looking back at the stuff and you start pulling back the sheets and stuff, maybe in different countries it's a little different, but here it's just like you find out a lot of it was like fuckery. People were kind of doing bullshit. Then you just like
throwing
we didn't have the technology to showcase a lot of this stuff. It wasn't on like IG and all that. So yeah, I think that's what's gonna kind of happening and stuff like that. But all right, we'll go ahead and we'll jump into the last topic real quick. I think it was a good discussion. I think these are needed because we gotta start breaking this stuff down and stuff. So Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up. So the
Yeah,
next
got
topic is good.
Good practice. Probably be flipping over some dust panels. So I just got some good practice tonight.
So you practicing out here?
Yeah, I'm just practicing.
All right. So the next topic is going to be talking about the Megan Thee Stallion and the Nicki Minaj beef that's been going on. So we got to get some of the like nonsense up in there. So let me give you guys some context. So Megan Thee Stallion just came out with a diss track called Hiss. And Nicki Minaj had her retaliation. What was it? Bigfoot, if I'm not mistaken, Manic. So, so like some of the I guess like bars that they were kind of bringing out. So Megan kind of threw this at like Nicki Minaj, where she was bringing out like the one of the pieces on the track was called Megan's Law or something like that. And she was throwing shots at like Nicki Minaj's husband as being like a registered sex offender. Then also Nicki Minaj's brother was sentenced to like 25 years in prison for, sexual assault. Then like a Nicki Minaj's retaliation track called Bigfoot. She was talking about pretty much like Megan Thee Stallion getting shot in the foot. Then also like she was lying on her dead mom. So what I wanted to kind of discuss with you guys, like based on what you kind of seen out in the public, do you think they went a little too far with like the disses? And I'll start with Manic Genius on that.
They start with me. Okay. I'm not gonna lie and say I'm not a big fan of rap beef, but I always listen to it because it's like you gotta hear where they're coming from and hear how hard. So it's entertainment. So I definitely appreciate the art form, but I don't think anything was really out of line. Other than like Nicki Minaj's reference of her dead mother, like that was the only thing that kind of pushed it over the top for me. But the rest of it is just like it's music, it's entertainment. They're going at each other. They're gonna boost up their their sales, get people, get their base fired up so they can sell more albums. That's all it is.
So you think even the references Megan Thee Stallion talk about her husband, and because those were actual events,
Yes, it's a
like,
fact. So I don't think that's over the line. That's over the top. It's just like it happened. Like this is you can literally look it up online, and she could have made a whole album about that. Like track 1, where you meet this predator. Like track 2, like finding love. Like track 3, like she could have went in, made it, and then released it on Valentine's Day.
So you don't see that, like you don't think she kind of stepped over the line, just like taking a personal hits of family and stuff.
Nah. I mean, that's a situation that Nicki Minaj signed up for. She knew he had a past. Everybody knows, especially when you're a celebrity. So she accepted all of that. So that's gonna come out. That's gonna come out in a rap beef. Not Nas and Jay-Z. They're talking about sleeping with each other's baby moms and like. Doing some wild stuff and then having her kiss the baby on the forehead. Like, come on, man. Like that's much deeper than, just talking about a factual event.
All right, let me get Erica and Mel's take on this from a female perspective. Do you think this is kind of like out of character for like females? Do you think they kind of stepped over the line, like going at each other like this?
I don't think y'all are loving to raise my blood pressure. I don't think it's a female thing. I just think that Nicki went too far with the dead mama thing. That's it.
See,
but you was cool with her throwing them shots at her Nicki Minaj husband and brother.
Well,
you think that's fair game?
Just like Megan didn't come after Nicki's dead father.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was gonna say.
So it's like it just went too far, and then because people are crazy and she knows that her fans are crazy, I heard that it's not really real. I don't know what is real about it, but the fact that her fans were going to Megan's mother's gravesite and trying to vandalize it, like that's just wild. Like what? That's too far. Yeah. And Megan said she didn't name any names of who she was talking about. She said the hit dogs will holler, and boy oh boy, did Nicki holler.
All right, let me get Mel's take. Mel, Would you think they went a little too far, or?
I think, like, I totally agree. Like, everything that her husband and brother did is public record. It's on. It's for the whole world to see. We all seen it. We seen it play out. All of that. So you can't get mad because you only 5'7", and then I call you out on the track. That's why you short, Nick. You know, a person. You know, like, it's a fact. That's something that actually happened. But I do think that if I'm beefing with you, I'm beefing with you. Like, why are you? You know, my thing is like. Again, Nicki Minaj chose her situation. Megan did not choose for her mom to no longer be here. So I just feel like it was real immature for Nicki Minaj. And even the whole reason like it's a rap beef to me is just it doesn't even make sense to me. I was trying to figure out the origin, but it's so many stories of the origin that I don't even know. But I just feel like she should find something, you know, more productive to do with her time. I mean, she got kids. Maybe she could be teaching them the alphabet or something. I don't know.
All right, let me get Phil on this. Phil, what's your take on this whole like rap battle?
It's all bullshit, man. Everybody's talking about everybody. It's just they've been doing it since the 90s. It's nothing different. It's just now it's just being more explicit and saying some dirtier shit. It's the same thing. I don't know why anybody's tripping about this shit. She said some fucked up shit. So did Tupac and Biggie. So did Dr. Dre and freaking Ice Cube. It's just this shit's going back for years, and then it's never going to change. People are just too fucking sensitive.
Damn, yeah, y'all kind of cold blooded up here, man. Let me get a scam over there.
Me personally, I like traditional diss tracks. This is a little modern, but honestly, I don't listen to none of this. I don't know what anybody said, but if you're gonna diss somebody, go for it. I want to see the video with a fake Megan Thee Stallion, the fake whatever, and you beating them up just like the old diss tracks in the 90s. You have to just like when I trolled Dre Prince. I had some fake dreads, a wave cap, the gap in the tooth, and you know. Or we did the Duster Sphere. We faked like all the content creators or whatever. If you're going to diss somebody, make it funny. Make it legendary. Make it, man, I remember, man, you remember that? Like, versus what you say. It's about how you do it. Make it, you're an entertainer, entertain. That's my thing. Versus all your emotions and I'm going to get you in the parking lot and the personal stuff. Throw that in there, but like, go in. That's my take.
I'm gonna have to circle back with you on that, because I mean, don't you think like some of this stuff is pretty much gonna start escalating? Like you start taking hits at people's family and stuff like that.
Man, it's fake, bro. Okay, just like some of the YouTube beef. I've told content creators, look, man, why don't you just pay somebody $500, fly to their city, stage one of them fake rumbling tangle up fights, record it. 3 months later, apologize. Then allegations about banging a chick. Why don't content creators do it on YouTube? Get up to 100,000 real quick. That's what they're doing in media. Actors, the rappers. It's probably a game.
All right, let me get Rush real quick. Sucker Free Boss, Rush. What's your take on this? I know you tuned into the ratchet shit. What's good?
This is not out the ordinary. This is a part of the culture where, people disrespect, one another on a record. From my observation from, the early 90s to mid 2000s, this is regular. For example, Big Pun and Terror Squad, they actually kidnapped DJ Who Kid, This is just regular stuff. Jimmy Henchman and 50, Jimmy Henchman paid somebody to shoot up Tony Yayo's crib. I mean, these things, it's just a regular thing, and it's what most hip hop artists do. They disrespect one another. They disrespect each other over a record, and they bring it to the streets, man. I mean, this is regular.
You don't think that's a little messed up? Let me get Prime in there. Prime. So you think these like this tracks and stuff? You think they escalate, or what's your take on this? You think they need to leave this stuff alone?
I think, I mean, I'm kind of in line with what Scam said. I think that if you're going to be an entertainer, be an entertainer. And if you're going to try to join in with the modern world on the influencers, why don't you guys organize why don't you guys organize it in the ring instead of having to cause issues outside in the streets? Make some money doing it. Like,
Yeah, that'd definitely be a lot
it's like if
safer.
you're gonna, yeah. Well, I mean, one, it's a lot safer, and two, you're still gonna be making money with it, and then three, it's like it's just a round of marketing promotion right there. So why not? It's like if you're gonna become an entertainer to that extent, or if you're gonna become an influencer to that extent, on either side of the spectrum, it's like you kind of have to, check yourself and realize that, hey, everything about my life is no longer going to be private because this is what I signed up for. Like, that is the cost of being a celebrity. Is anything and everything about your life can be dug into. I mean, simple and put. It sucks, but I mean that's what anybody who becomes like that's what anybody is susceptible to once they become an influencer, become an entertainer, and enter into these industries where you're getting the limelight put on you for more than 15 minutes.
Okay. Let me welcome up Dame. How you been, man? How you doing?
I'm good, brothers. How y'all doing? And sisters.
So you want to touch this topic, or you want to talk about the modern real quick? Because I would love to
I can talk what you're talking about. Like, either I've been listening. So, like, if we're gonna stay on the beef situation, it's like I think it's the quickest way for some rappers to keep a foot in the streets, because they start to be kind of like detached, and people think there's no longer that stuff they talked about that I could relate to. I don't relate to that because they own yachts, they own boats. Like Andre 3000 just had a interview. It's like, man, what am I gonna rap about? A colonoscopy? It's like I'm not in the streets, I'm not in the hood, I'm nowhere near all that stuff. So nothing. I come off as disingenuous and fake if I start rapping about like throw my guns in the air or whatever like that. So beef is the quickest way to keep people foot in the street, because everybody can understand not messing with somebody or beef with somebody. So I think that it's a coordinated effort on both parts to make sure they maintain a foothold in the streets, because people want to see them beefing with somebody. People can't wait to buy the next diss track. Like I remember when like the No Vaseline came out with Ice Cube back in the day. Everybody was waiting to see what NWA was going to come up with, And then the same thing with Ether, and everybody wanted to see what Nas and Jay-Z was going to come up with. I mean, because it's a way to say, hey, I ain't completely forgot about my roots and where I'm at. So I think it's the way it's detrimental, because the people that rock with you could take that shit seriously. Because I know more people whose mans in them got into fights than the artist who was actually saying stuff. Got shot over some manufacturer, or even if it was real beef.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was seeing when I was like reading some of this stuff. It's like, I think Erica was talking about it where it escalated up, where like people going to the gravesite and they had to get security guards out there and stuff. So I'm like, man, this stuff is getting a little outrageous, man. These people are like weirdos out here. I wanted to circle back to. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
I think Nicki Minaj knows she's losing her crown. Other people are coming up for it quickly, and she's just trying to reassert herself as the top chick and trying to get by starting shit with people, with the young ones coming up. Instead of appreciating them and supporting them, she's like, I'm still that chick.
Oh, so you said she's trying to hold on. She's trying to stay relevant out here.
Hold on to that throne.
Yeah, I just wanted to circle back to when I was talking about this wasn't typical for the ladies, Erica. I was meaning like typically women, like they would handle like the record beef. Like I remember like Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown, they didn't go to this route. They were like a little more classy and stuff like that. So yeah, when I was reading this, I'm like, God dang, like they like full-fledged dudes out here, because yeah, dudes typically are just messy with it. They going all the way in,
Well, I wouldn't really say they. I think Nicki is the one that went too far. So I wouldn't say.
Okay, I got you.
I think, like y'all said, Nicki is struggling with growing up And because for a long time she was the only one. Like she reigned for a while, being the only female rap artist that anybody was paying attention to. And I think that she's struggling with her identity in this business, because now there are tons of women rappers who are coming up behind her, and instead of her doing what she acted like she needed from those before her, she ain't practicing what she was preaching.
So she get a pass because she got the only child syndrome.
That's what she think.
I don't know. It's like, but one thing I say that Nicki did when she came up, she still had reverence for the people that came before. There's this video of her just like falling on her knees to
Lil' Kim.
not Lil' Kim. It was Lauryn Hill. She was just like, "Then you're the queen, you're the best. You know, you inspired me," and blah blah blah. I bet these booty hole brown chicks ain't doing that to her.
That was powerful PR. That was after she had already ruined a lot of relationships. You got to think about when that happened. That was PR, because before that she had already basically snubbed everybody that came before her. Then she backtracked and started giving reverence to the queens that came before her. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, she came in humble. She came in like the same.
I mean, but you're supposed to come in and do the best. You're supposed to be every.
You can still come in and be the best and not like basically say like you created this shit. This shit is like it is because of you, because it's not.
Yeah, and if I recall, I'm not big on rap and all that, but if I recall, Cardi did come into this game trying to pay homage, but Nicki was a bitch about it.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
caused that whole situation. So it's not like they're not trying to. Like Megan was, big up in Nicki for a while, but something that's not to our knowledge must have happened that got her to get on the mic and say what she had to say about Nicki. But she's not a nice person.
Oh, okay. So you think she's okay? It sounds like she's.
And I think she's got some. In my opinion, it seems like she's got some psychological mental issues. And I know her husband does for sure. So like somebody said about people getting involved, he's not emotionally intelligent at all and will beef with anybody and stir up some. He don't care what type of house arrest, probation he on. He don't care. He going to be outside ready to fight. Even Megan. So
I mean, he has that they called it for a while that Mr. Minaj syndrome. Like, I mean, seriously, it's like how Dre said it. Shout out to my boss bitch's wife and niggas. She wifed this dude who was a street dude.
Yeah.
So now he needs to reassert himself. Like, no, I'm not Nicki Minaj's wife. I'm who I am. I'm who I was before she got famous. So I need to reassert that. But I'm like, dude, man, you go home to a 17,000 square foot mansion, right, and 10 cars in the garage, man. Stop that.
Roll with security.
Seriously.
Don't you have to open your own car door and shit? You got shelves and things and stuff. Ain't nothing straight about that.
Let me ask y'all. So based on their, because they both got some like terrible background. So if I had that type of background, I'm gonna shut the hell up. I ain't trying to get in no beef. So my stuff be like blasted out there because Megan Thee Stallion just came out of the whole Tory Lanez shooting. Nicki Minaj from like what it reads like her brother and that dude, messing with my, the charges they got. I'm like, man, I ain't about to be like in no beef, but why they always been selecting bad guys like this. I'm like, God damn, like you think
like, but that's my thing too. Like, I hate when people be like, when I make money, I ain't leaving the hood, bro. I'm out. I don't want to be around no like, I don't want to be back in nobody's streets. I don't want to do none of that. Like when I was younger, like I did some stuff that may not have been illegal, but now that I'm older and educated, I don't even want to.
Mel snitching on herself. Mel snitching on herself. Where them bricks at?
Like the statute of limitation is passed.
We did a lot. You got to think about it.
I think it's one of those situations where it's like you can take the kid out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the kid.
They still stuck.
But some people really didn't have that hood in them. Some people faked the funk. And then they true nature. Like Nicki she was adjacent and she was fascinated with hood dudes, but she was never really hood. She was in like a performing arts school. She was trying to be an actress. She was trying to do all this other stuff and just happened to have a talent for rapping. And that took her farther than like acting and dramatic arts did. But she was always chasing those hood dudes. Like I remember she wanted to be with Nas. She wanted to be with all the dudes that she wanted to be were like these hood dudes that she was fascinated with when she was younger. And that's why she got back with this other dude. It was somebody she was all sprung on when she was a kid.
Right.
Yeah, because she was with that dude Safari and Meek Mill.
He ain't a hood dude. He helped her with her rap career. He orchestrated her whole persona and rap career. He created the modern Nicki Minaj, the early Nicki Minaj.
Facts.
But she was with Meek Mill too, right?
Hood dude.
Okay, yeah. So so that's a trend for her. So Erica was right. Erica like, look,
a bad boy. I don't want a bad boy. I don't want to have to think about coming to visit you in jail. I don't want to have to think about coming to bail you out. I don't want to think about hiding no stuff. I don't want to do none of. I want to do regular stuff. I want to feel safe. Like I don't understand the fascination. Like, and that's people who really have not had to 100% live that life, and then they see something better, and it's like you don't want to go back to that. Who want to go back to looking over their shoulder? Like that's crazy, man. And I can understand in your mind, like that's just how you live. You used to that, but once you get in a place and you start seeing different stuff, you're like, well, I know I used to have to go out, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go pick this up, here, do this and that. But I can get up, put on some regular clothes, and go to an office and pretend to work for a few hours. And
you gotta stop snitching on yourself.
We gotta mute her.
The fact that she chooses who she chooses to be with, don't y'all think that seems to be rooted in a little insecurity and maybe she a little tempting because it don't make no sense. That's why I say she ain't all the way there to me.
Yeah,
I agree. I guess we'll find out if she gets a divorce or not.
She ain't.
I disagree. Most women gravitate towards the dude that have an edge. You know what I mean?
Most women.
But celebrities got most. Hold
on.
About to go in on you, Rush. I
just want to.
You say they all want the bad boy.
Rush, I think women who don't have a lot to lose can still afford to do that. Like she has a lot to lose, but she's rich. It's not going to define her whole lifestyle, her life and how she lives if she get with a dude that's a street dude. But like a woman who's working at the bank. It's a whole different world. He do something wrong, her whole world is picked up.
Here's the thing: within our community, most women, whether she works at McDonald's or she works at corporate America, they idolize on having a guy like Nipsey Hussle. You know, that's the ideal alpha archetype. What most females, look for within our community. I mean, it's a fact. You know what I mean? Most of these black chicks is not gonna go date a guy that's, goes to Harvard, They're gonna holler at the dude that got a little bit of edge in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a talking point.
What you call it? Somebody, I forgot what it says. It was like street chicks always want the schoolboy and the schoolgirls always want the hood dude. That's how it is.
Shout out to Erica's face though. Where Russ said that.
Black chicks. Black chicks. Emphasis on that BL that he put on that.
When I go to upscale and quality places, I don't see Marquand pulling up in the parking lot getting these women. I don't.
Say that again, Skip. What'd you say?
When I go to decent upscale places where it's like women with some class, I don't see Marquavion and Mac Trey pulling up. I
guarantee you when you go home, you getting piped down by one, man. You know what I mean?
That's the talking point Mark always says.
You don't see it in that kind of environment. They're not piping them, man. Come on.
Now that we got the internet, you see them fake thugs on the internet complaining about women more than the simps. They up here crying.
I don't see that, man.
And truthfully, thugs is shooting chicks because they can't have them. They simp harder than the regular simps.
You don't agree with that, Rush?
I mean, there's some truth to that, but that's not the majority. Most dudes from my environment where I stem from, they know how to deal with women. Know what I mean,
I think it's that same thing where it's like you want what you don't see every day, because you want, there's that grass is greener mentality. It's like, I see, if I'm in the hood, I see the hood dude every day. So when I see the dude walking in a nice suit, going into like a nice restaurant, I'm gonna be thinking, dang, that must be a great lifestyle. That must be great. So I'm attracted to that. I'm interested in that. Just like, but the same way, if you see the chick who was like grew up middle class, go into like a hood spot, or going to the hood to like the bodega to get something instead of going to a nice restaurant.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because most middle class, you know what I mean, African American female do gravitate towards that. You know what I mean?
And I don't think it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Every woman wants something that they don't see every day. It's like they like, seriously. But when you say, Dusto, when you said that you don't see him going into the spot, let that dude come in. He ain't like a bum, but let him come in with the braids, you know, a little bit of jewelry, a little bit of drip on him, and he comes in. All the women are turning their heads, look, but same way is let a dude come in a nice suit to like kind of like a hood spot. All the chicks are looking at him because he stand out and he's something different, and that piques interest.
Let me interject real quick. That I don't agree. If you would, hold on, let me just say this: if you would do that, come from, you know what I mean, high upper class, middle class type joint, you going to the hood, linking up with a hood chick, it's a recipe for you to get lined up. So like, if you're not well-rounded dealing with those kind of female, I don't advise a dude to do that, because he gonna get lined up. And I seen this movie clip happen repeatedly. You know what I mean?
But usually the chick comes to that dude because she wants to be in his world.
Yeah, ain't
he's
nobody
not
going
coming
to
to
the
hood. She going to where he at because she wants to be at the nice restaurants, going to the nice spots. That is usually where she's
on her best dress.
She's hopping on like I grew up in Oakland. She's hopping on the West Oakland BART, headed up to Fairfield, because she
but usually those types of dudes are getting played, because when they getting wined and dined by a son that got the paper, they linking up with a dude like me, piping them down when they get done with them. Know what I mean? So, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's a cold world out here. I'm sucker free out here, man.
I think you're only getting played if you
a whole lot. Yeah, I didn't catch that. What you say?
I said, I think you're only getting played if you can't afford it. And most of those guys, they can afford a lot more than just that one girl.
That's the philosophy of a simp, man. Nah, man.
Nah, I think your ideology is somebody who's broke.
Shit. That's a philosophy of a simp.
That's a simp.
They always say that.
That's called
You're broke.
Nah, man. See, I'm
anybody can get played.
Hey, shout out to Prime. You hit him with the punch.
So Rush, you said you got game out here, huh? That's what you pretty much trying to tell us. We got
Of course I do, man.
Hold on. Let me say something. Look, hey Rush, I promise to you, bro. I love your confidence, everything, right? You cannot take that same mentality and go to an upscale type situation like where I live and use that same ideology to pull an upscale chick. It's just not gonna work.
Listen. I could code switch, man. Know what I mean? I could talk like them white niggas up there in corporate America, man. Know what I mean?
I gotta hear this, Rush. No.
Yeah, Rush. We gotta play this out, Rush. Give us a line, man. Give us some couple.
Nah, I'm not in the mood to be doing that.
You said you could code switch. You could code switch. If you can't code switch, then you gotta.
I mean, like, yo, I can code switch and I could talk to wealthy women. I mean, I done dealt with a few 90-out kings. Nah, man, not now, man. Nah, man.
But the thing is, I don't even think you got to really code switch. I think you just be you, and the ones who are interested and curious about that are going to gravitate towards you. I know. I'm telling you, my brother is hood as fuck, and he got some like privileged women in his day. Like I was like, what? I'm like he pushing the BMW that their parents bought him. You know, that kind of stuff. And this dude's been in jail a lot.
Your brother, is he like on some fly stuff? Like got his stuff together?
He was just buff for no reason, you know.
There you go. That's what like,
you know.
But
Never
nah,
lifted a weight until he was just country buff, you know. So they was just like, you know, these bougie chicks all loaded.
I could look the way that I am right now and talk the same way that I talk in any environment and still pull a woman. It doesn't make a damn difference how I sound or what I look like. If like I said, I could walk into a hood spot, I could walk into a Hispanic spot, a white spot, an African American spot. I'm not going to change who I am.
You only can say that because you're a decent looking brother. You could, you only say that. That's disingenuous, man. I'm not buying that.
Actually, 3 days out of the week,
you got pretty privilege.
I can do the same thing.
He said you're delusional.
You got pretty privilege. Stop it.
I will say that is true though. You done passed the first test. If you look all right, you done passed the first test. I mean,
so Mel, Phil out here capping and shit.
I had pretty privilege when I was your age too, so I ain't even tripping.
Y'all said Phil was out here trying to take the ugly man struggle, huh? And run with it. Shut up, Phil.
You not on his beat.
Mute your mic, Phil.
You right. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna take my pretty privileged ass and go over there. My bad. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm ugly and I'm cheap, and I can still get them here and there. And I'm lazy too. I don't, pay attention to detail and all that. But even me, I can go and get me something in the hood.
You know what? You and I will go to a hood spot and a white spot and a Hispanic spot, and I guarantee both those will pull something.
Hispanic spot, yes. I can speak enough Spanish and salsa, all that. The hood spot, no, because I ain't going in there. I'm not.
They're still going to pull the mama and you're going to pull the daughter.
Now, 20 years ago, yes. But I can't do the hookah.
That's still finesse. Like you,
I can't do the auto-tune music, the hookah, and 400-pound chicks dancing and rubbing on each other with colored 2-story wigs. I don't go in there. I can't do it.
What?
What spots you be going to?
In Tampa, I don't go to the hood spots. I look from the outside. I'm like, I ain't going in there.
Holes in the wall in Mississippi.
Yeah.
So Erica, Mel, y'all be going to the hood spots.
Let's be clear. I've been to some hood Hispanic Mexican spots right here in Atlanta. So let's not make that a black thing, okay? Y'all gonna quit picking on my people tonight.
Oh, that's even right.
They definitely got some.
And also, you can go to
they get to shooting and cutting too.
All the black women up in there who ain't looking for hood dudes. Okay.
Facts.
Hood spots got the best food.
Rush, I would like to know who told you that most black women want that. Who told you?
Like black women.
Rush. You wanna hook, Rush?
Let's not pretend this ain't true, man. Come on, man.
No, that's not what I asked you. Who told you that?
We need real statistics.
I done been around, man. I done been around your neck of the woods, man. You know what I mean? East Point, like all of that, man. I've been around, man.
Okay, and you frequent the hood spots where the hood chicks are that want hood niggas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how is
there it is. There go that cold switch. That's what I'm talking about, Russ. He gave you a glimpse. Russ is like, look.
With a sample.
There was.
Fire, phenomenal, Rush.
So how does that equate to most black women?
Come on, let's not pretend this ain't true, man. But
no,
I mean, hey, man.
What Damian said, it's in your environment. So the people that you are around, most of those women want people like you. But what makes you equate that to most black women altogether? Are you saying that most black women are hood chicks?
Oh. Well, let me just say this. Nah, I mean, no, that's not what I'm saying. From middle class America, with women that has some melanin, they tend to gravitate towards dudes that's hood. I mean, this ain't like rocket science. Look at Angela Simmons. She come from good stock. But she ended up dating that dude Sutton from Georgia. He was pretty good.
Back to the you want what you're not used to.
Yeah, I don't get it because the upscale clubs have more women than men, and they have smaller women. Now the 468-pound Wigosaurus is being the hood clubs, and it'd be more dudes than women in the hood clubs.
I don't know what you do.
I'm from Virginia. I didn't go to hood places.
When I'm out, I'm not around that.
Okay, let me take your Angela Simmons terrible example. If she didn't have money, do you still think that she would gravitate to
No.
They wouldn't have been in the same environment if he didn't have that
Sutton,
money.
Sutton wasn't rich.
But remember,
Sutton was
Wasn't
not
poor
rich.
either
He was
though.
a regular
remember,
dude, regular old dude.
her daddy is a hip hop legend, so she's around hip hop artists. So
Oh,
it's not
you talking
that
about?
foreign
Are
to
you
him.
talking about Angela?
Yeah.
Now, I want to know why they spend so much money and time, higher cover charges, getting into the upscale clubs if they're looking for hood dudes. I want to know why. There's only one bouncer in there.
Okay.
Maybe he's hood. Why are they there?
Let's dissect that. Is it the women who have had access to their entire life doing that, or women who are trying to elevate their station in life that are making the investment to trying to get the upscale dude?
Damien, let's be real. Pick any city in the country. I can find a disposable hood dude on any street. They're disposable. And they say the same thing. Yeah, I know what I'm saying, man. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Same thing. They're disposable. To the point where they get smoked, nobody even investigates.
I don't agree with that.
They can be replaced.
Yeah, we're not talking about their place in society. We're just saying when it comes
No, I'm
to
saying
dating
how so
interests.
somebody valuing that. Do you really want that anyway?
I'm telling you. All right, I'll ask you a question.
I have a sign in front of my house. Please take my chick, Marquand. Just don't take the stuff in the house.
I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question. Why do white dudes bungee jump and do all the crazy cliff dive and do crazy stuff and come to the hood and talk shit to dudes, brothers knowing that they're gonna get knocked out? It's because their life is so boring. They gotta invent excitement and adventure and things to be excited about again, because they're used to all the stuff that we fantasize about. So there's no enjoyment of anymore. That's why you would get a chick from the suburbs to kind of rock with a dude from the hood, because they're trying to see something that they're not used to and try to find some excitement and enjoyment in something like that. You know, is it a long-term solution? Unless they get knocked up or get on drugs, a lot of times they don't. They dip in for a couple of years and then dip back out, and they go and marry the dude, the Carlton Banks that they grew up with, you know. But they try it out because it's something exciting and fresh. So what Russia said is not all off base, where women go and say, I need something that's going to excite me and get me juice and something I need new experience. So I'm gonna go to this dude who can provide that for me. Just like the chick who's from the hood, she's like, I want the guy, the Carlton Banks dude. I'm just saying that because I'm trying to think of someone who's the epitome of what we're the opposite of what we're talking
That's
about.
an extreme. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, well, Damon, here's the
That's
deal.
not an
The maddest
extreme.
people in these spaces. Let's just take who's the maddest. Just the hood dudes who ain't got no money. They're mad at the women for actually having a job, and they ain't got one.
Thanks.
They're mad because they can't compete. 50-50, I want to, because they want something too, and they just ain't that. They just know. And the Carlton Banks, who somebody lied to and said you can have no style, wear some New Balances and go get all these chicks because you got a degree. Those are the maddest two groups. In between, regular dudes who can just have a conversation don't have these women's problems.
Yeah, I agree. We're talking about like,
and I'm almost ugly. In 6 weeks, I'm gonna be full out ugly. And I'm saying I'm not having all these problems. You never see me when I don't smile on my face and come on dust, even the dust panels.
Yeah,
so y'all saying Rush is full of shit? That's what our synopsis is.
I'm saying his experience is probably right on.
Disposable.
I'm saying that he can probably.
If you have confidence, I'm saying if you have confidence and know how to talk, it doesn't matter if you're hood. It don't matter if hood or work at a bank. Confidence and know how to talk, you can get some women. That's universal.
True.
I agree. 100% on that.
Hold on, Rush. You said that the black chicks that go out.
She ain't gonna let you get away with that.
Yeah.
He put a lot of
pressure.
You like Kevin Hart. We ain't gonna just walk by and say like you didn't say what you just said.
He put a lot of emphasis on it though, for real.
So the black chicks that go out and get wined and dined by the rich dudes, they coming home to get dicked down by dudes like you.
He said pipe down.
Pipe down by dudes like you. How does that make you feel?
It should make you feel like a whore. Filthy whore.
Mel, let him answer.
You gonna make me spit on my drink, Mel?
Great.
He said he feels great.
You say you feel great about that?
Yeah, man.
Why?
What do you mean? Why? I'm getting what I want.
You ain't good enough to be seen with me, but You're good enough for me to be with you behind closed doors.
You don't
Listen,
see
man.
that you're being used for
I
dick?
guess you guys don't know me, man. Stay sucker fees my campaign.
All
Like
we
I
know
said
is you
before,
sucker
you
feet. You know
won't
what I
catch
mean?
me doing no
That's all I
sucker shit.
Hey, I'm just gonna say for Mel
What I
and
look like
Erica,
doing in the public with a smut,
men
man?
don't really
Come on,
care
man.
about
That
being
don't even
used for
make no
dick.
sense,
They
man.
get cared about using for bread. So I'm sure he doesn't feel used if that's the case. If
Hey,
you
Mel,
use me for my
Erica,
bread, that's different. But if you use me for my Johnson, I'm all good.
Mel,
I don't give away any money, so I don't know
Yeah.
about the use of bread.
What you say,
But
Phil?
this ain't about me though. This ain't about me though, man. I mean, this is a regular thing that goes on within our community, man. Whether if you want to acknowledge it or not. That's why you got the educated lame, and then they got a
See, why you
terminology
gotta be
where they
lame
call.
because he educated? Come on now.
That's not. Hey, man, I don't make these rules, man. This is what people be saying.
Wait, Phil, what did you
I don't
say?
make the news. I just report it.
Wait, Phil, what did you say?
Hold on, let
Oh,
me get
we're talking about for Erica Mel. Trust when I say this, I'll be the one to hold the woman's hand. I'm not doing no behind the door bullshit. I actually want a relationship. I want to be in some situation that's healthy and fruitful. So he can have the side guy, dick down, pipe down till he dies. Shit, he keep it there, support you, bro. But at the end of the day,
This ain't about me.
everybody
This
is
is in
somewhere in their
general,
life.
though. I mean,
It's
don't
funny
make
you
it about
say
me.
till I die
This is a
because
general thing that goes
it's
on.
funny you say till I die because these, in my opinion, are the same guys who 20 years from now, when they're lonely and they don't have anyone at home with them,
Right.
are seeking that 20-something-year-old girl who is indeed now using them for the little bit of coin that they finally started to make. So how does that make you feel?
That's
That makes you feel
completely
good?
false. That's
The thing
completely
is,
false. My father is in his mid-60s and he's still piping out these hoes, man.
Oh,
You know what I mean? My father was brother that's 12 years old, man. You know what I'm saying?
Erica, the way
You know
you
what I'm
phrasing
saying,
it,
season pipe.
you really don't understand how the male mind. The way you phrasing
Yeah,
it,
y'all
it
got
does
some
not
man
sound
running
so
some
bad to
layups.
dudes. Let me get this. I'm 60 and I got a 20
Every
year old.
male is different.
I don't want no 60-year-old dick if I'm 20.
So listen, let me ask y'all this.
Me personally, I'll
saw
turn the
it-
vagina down if it comes on shady terms, sneaking out a back window. I don't want nothing to do with that. Keep it.
Okay, so I was watching Real Housewives the other day, and one of the couples on there is about to get a divorce. Her husband is 30 years older than her. She's over it because his dick don't
Is that
work.
the mixed chick and the white dude?
No. This was on Real Housewives of Potomac. Her
Yeah,
husband.
so I know Potomac. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Darcy, what her name? Darcy or something?
No,
Something
it's
Darcy?
Mia.
Mia.
Gordon.
Oh,
No,
the
Mia,
stripper
not
chick.
Darby. You talking about Ashley Darby. We talking about Mia. She
Yeah,
was
my
about
wife on that.
You watch your Real
Now, Mia's
Housewives.
husband, who
Hey, that's how me and the wife bond.
Sure.
it hasn't been
Named out all the
said
seasons.
outright, but pretty
Pre-recorded.
much his dick don't work no more, and she's over it, right?
Mhm.
So his response to her is, "Hey, don't divorce me. Let's make a deal. I'll still have you, the pretty woman on my arm, as my wife, and you can be free to just go get piped down by whoever you want, and we'll just be in agreement."
Not those exact words.
Kind of, right. But to me,
that's-
that was the lamest. Now that was
That's what
lame.
it
It's
does.
sad that this
That's what it
man
does.
just wants a pretty woman on his arm. Hey, just don't leave me. Just be my pretty wife for everyone else to see what I got.
And be a
Because
good
my
mother.
ego
Be
can't
the mother
handle
and the wife I need you to be, but you're free to, just make sure that you're the mother and wife I need you to be.
Hey,
We're
Russ.
using reality shows
He
as
ain't living
examples.
sucker free.
We're talking about reality
Yeah,
shows
that's
as our
sucker shit right
example.
there, bro.
That's
No, that's real.
Really?
Like for real. I think that there are a
No.
lot of older men who think that way. That's like,
No,
hey,
not
I
my
just
part.
need to show you off
Not
because
my
of my
part.
ego.
Nah, I have seen some, man. It's real. But what you about to say, Dave?
I was about to say that's a different situation because I may know a little bit of something about that situation. I mean, glance at it when I'm walking by to the kitchen and she's watching it. I'll be like, "Oh, what's going on?" But
you don't watch it. You don't watch
bro. Hey, you guys nobody.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing
pass.
with you. Yeah, me and my wife, we watch it sometimes.
Like, yeah, we're super fans. We signed up for the big story.
But I think she got bread. And I think
She's the one. The joint
the one who's got-
chiropractic. She owns most of those.
yeah, she the one with the bread. So she's the one with the real bread. So he ain't trying to give away that bread, trying to loses that access to that bread.
He was on
So
the
that's
board
why he's
for
on that. You
something
can go
happened.
bang other dudes, just don't leave me. because
see,
I don't
no,
want to be this broke dude out here.
He had the bread in the beginning, and then she took that, and then that's when she started like the joint chiropractic and acquiring all this stuff. So then it shifted. It was a shift in their marriage. So that's the big thing too, because she was a bottle girl when they met in the club, in a lounge. And
so what's he got, like ED, erectile dysfunction or something? Like he can't.
Well, I
All
mean,
you gotta do is get 100 tattoos.
He going to the doctor now.
He said he can do a what?
He's going to the doctor now, but at first it wasn't a big deal to him that he wasn't. And then she started complaining about it and said she had went and filed for, like, went to talk to the divorce lawyer. He didn't find out until like he saw the bill or something like that she was actually like in the process.
But my
so
thing
Russ,
I don't know. Let
me get Russ.
Like, why don't you love me? Like, you don't love me anymore. His thing was like, hey, I just want you for show, just because please don't embarrass me and let all these other men know that I don't still have a pretty woman on my
He
arm.
ain't say it like that. I know he did not say nothing.
This is our example.
Like that.
Yeah,
that's how he said.
This is the information we're getting from Erica.
I'm gonna find the clip.
We're gonna break that down. Then we're gonna do a review on that on one of these shows.
That's the woman interpretation.
Exactly. I'm gonna get the clip.
We knew how y'all
woman code.
I'm gonna get the clip. That's exactly what he said. He
Erica,
said
how their family.
Erica, I'm sending you to a dust panel.
He used all those specific words and was like, well, I've never like put a leash on you, basically. Because he knows like she's with other girls and stuff and everything. He was just like, I've never put a leash on you, but our family and how our family.
Oh, that cat broken.
How, we are in the
But
we're getting
number
this
one
information from Mel and Erica.
He was messed up from jump. You don't go find bottle service girls and strippers and then wipe them up and then think when the money runs dry they're not gonna find somebody else, especially if they still look halfway decent at 40.
That's my point. That's why I'm saying this pattern that Rush is speaking of. I don't know how old he is, but that's what it's going to lead to. And I'm saying, why do you want that to be your life?
Rush, they got you on a trajectory of misery, dog.
That's what it's going to come down to. 20 years from now, he's going to find the bottle girl, and he's going to be proud of piping her down. And then she's going to say, look,
my biggest concern is it's going to be small meat Sam, 5'6", incel, whatever, who got money from engineering. You're going to be knocking down his girlfriend, and he's going to come home early. He's going to take you out, he's going to take her out, and he's going to take himself out. Because he can't handle it.
I'm like this, dude.
Damn, that got dark.
I'm gonna give some.
Rush was disposable. Why didn't y'all see this coming? He said
but
Rush
the thing is, there's another. There's another vagina up the block. Why not that one?
I'm like this. I'm gonna give all as a reformed former side dude. Don't be at the dude, your chick's dude's house. Don't go to her house if you're gonna do something wrong. Never go to her house.
Rush said he coming through in that scenario.
Listen, don't make this about me. This is a general thing that goes on within our society, man. Come on, man.
But it's not just black girls, though. That's what the point we try to get to is not just black girls. Black.
No, I'm sorry to say that, guys. Please forgive me, guys. I'm sorry about that. Come on, man.
This place is full of pushing narratives. They do it all day. Every extreme they can think of.
Scam, you ain't having it. So the upscale joints, you're not seeing this, Scam. You're not seeing.
No, ain't no women in there. There's just a whole bunch of dudes with suits on, and the women left because they all at the hood clubs in the parking lot chasing Marquavion in them. Yeah, that's how it is.
Darius.
Yeah, sophisticated jerk, manic. No, they can't get no women. All the women say,
Darius.
Do you have a job? Yeah. Sorry, I'm not interested. That's what they say every time. All the politicians, they're not married. Attorneys, doctors, no, they're single. The nurse is like, ugh, you a doctor having ass. Yeah, that's how this world works. Because they're black.
So one breath, all black women want is the men with money in the job. And in another breath, all the black women want is the hood niggas with no jobs. Which one?
You have to hold free. You wearing that card this whole panel.
Black.
Right.
Because of black.
That's my thing, man. Staying sucker free is my campaign, and I'm big on staying sucker free. You heard? That's
Define
all.
sucker
That's all I
I
gotta say.
don't even know what he's saying sucker free is.
It sounds more like
Like,
free
we really
sucker than
don't
sucker
even
free.
understand the concept of sucker. I don't
What makes you
understand it.
sucker free? Define that, please.
Oh, I will.
Go
A
ahead,
sucker
define it.
is
After
let
Russ
him define it.
defines it, we're
Yeah.
gonna close out. So go ahead, Russ. The floor is yours.
okay. A sucker is a dude that puts in a lot of energy towards a female that's not reciprocating the same energy towards him. That's some sucker shit. Know what I mean?
Suckers.
No.
Yeah, I'm definitely
Steve, I
sucker
don't know what you
free.
mean.
I'm with Rush on this.
Sacrifice.
Yeah,
How do I get membership, Rush?
I was
I'm
born
kinda
in
like
sucker
that,
free.
Subscribe
You
to
got
the
a
Libido
subscription for that?
Network, man.
Says subscribe. Okay.
Get your membership.
Fuck, yo.
But all right, we'll go ahead and close this out. So we'll go around real quick. Everybody, give your parting words and where can we find you at? So we'll start at the bottom down with Phil. Then I'll work my way around.
Part of words, this is a funny ass cast, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Shit kind of. I will just say this: don't be a sucker. Like Rush said, they're sucker free. You heard him. You heard him. It's fact. You can find me on TikTok, Phil_Pack.
And Phil, we need you to stop capping and shit about the look section. I'm glad Dame called that shit out. You was trying to take on the ugly dude struggle and shit, man. Knock that off, man.
That's not even what you got it. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead,
Man,
Nick.
you know, if I go in this club and shout out to Phil though. But all right, Dame, where can we find you at and part of words?
My advice is if you walking down the street and you see a nigga handing out suckers, even if they free, walk past that motherfucker.
Say keep it moving, huh?
Stay sucker. Seriously. Nah, this is a good plan or what have you. Like I said, I'm gonna come up here more. Mondays is just Mondays and Tuesdays are crazy days for me. So I'm gonna try to rock with y'all a bit more. But I always like the energy on your panel. And if people want to like I said, I'm a fake ass YouTuber. I got a channel. I do shit every once in a while when I feel like it. It's Can I Get Some Podcast. You can go on my IG, Can I Get Some Podcast. You can see clips from previous shows and shit like that. So that's what's up.
He be having some good panels, so definitely go check that out and stuff. And I'll put it in the back for the group if y'all want to go check out Dame stuff. We be pulling up on them. All right, Prime, parting words. Where can we find you at?
You can't find me even if you look for me. If you guys want to get a hold of me, just hit up Jerk and Manic. You guys can get a hold of me that way.
Shout out to Prime, man. Definitely good dude. We be chopping it up with him over there on Will Nakuzi's podcast and stuff. So we be over there quite a bit, you know, talking about like legacy and stuff. Definitely have some great conversations. So shout out to Prime. He be holding it down from the IT tip over there and be coming up there cracking us up. So all right, Scam. Where can we find you up? And I heard you the other day, man. You got a show coming up Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. Just not gonna do it this Wednesday. Think I'm working OT.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm scam likely. Normally, if you're on the dust panels hearing all these women's, occasionally I pop up there, throw a grenade in the room, and then get out of there because this is stupid, man. I'm sick of it. The women's, did 32.2% of men's, and no, gotta stop. But next few shows, I think I'm gonna do one about the truth behind nice people. We'll do one about choice versus force. I'm gonna do a whole series on communication because my channel is communication and solution based. One called Why Should I Listen to You? This is leadership based. And soon one, The Power of Optimism and Positive Thinking. Later I'll get into confidence. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of stuff coming.
All right, I'm gonna pull up Sunday. You kind of chose a bad day. You know the Super Bowl on Sunday, man. I'm gonna be a little tipsy if I pull up there.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Damn. Sure is. I might move it to Monday then. I didn't think about it.
Yeah, you might have to, because I saw that. I was like, I'm gonna come up there, but there's gonna be some slurring words. You know, I'm gonna have chicken wing juice on my shirt. So
I'm probably gonna move it. I didn't think about that.
You might. Okay, all right.
But my channel, we're not doing men's versus women's talking. We're not doing that. Just no, not having it. Just no. Dust free women, you're safe on my channel. Usually closed panel, regular, decent conversations, educated, positive people. The very thing that I can't find in these spaces. I can't find it. Here, maybe a couple places, but everything else is dust. So I had to create something on my own. It is what it is.
We'll support you, man. Definitely let us know the
Appreciate
date.
y'all.
I'll get that. I'll shoot that out to everybody. All
Yeah.
right, Erica.
I really appreciate y'all on that interview shit. That was some fire. You know, I came through on a panel interview show I did.
Yeah, no, that was a good subject. All right, Erica, where can we find you at? And parting words. You got any more words for Rush?
You can find Erica in the back of a
Words
liquor
are so I
store.
love from this Black girl. And follow this Black girl at Erica Dawn Voices, whose Black ass is about to be launching her own podcast very soon. It's going to be called Bedtime Stories with Erica Dawn Voices, an audio drama podcast. So it's going to be episodic. It's going to be something that you can listen to on your way to snooze and hear nice romantic stories that are written by myself and my sister. First episode is written and the promo will drop on Valentine's Day. So look out for that. And also another podcast that I will be doing, which is called The VO Ventures with Erica Dawn. Anybody interested in breaking into voice acting, that will be the podcast for you to listen to. So that's it.
Yeah, actually, I like to brace into voice acting for the ladies out there, you know.
Hey, I told you I might have to book you on one of these audio drama series where I need a male voice. So
yeah, all the single ladies, if your man ain't loving you right,
don't talk, just listen. First of all,
so y'all got y'all LL on here. That's what I'm talking about. There you go, Erica. We got
and they
you some
won't be,
people.
and they unfortunately, Rush, they won't be hood stories. So Black girls that you're used to may not be interested in hearing my stories, but still support anyway.
Dead.
No, we'll definitely support. Once you get it up and running, let me know. And like I said, I'll put it on the community thing. And you need people to come through. Let us know. This is what we doing. We supporting each other. You need graphics and stuff. Hit me up because I know some people. So yeah, just let us know, man. We know people that can get you there. We try to build each other up. All right, Rush. Parting words, and where can we find you at, brother?
Well, you can find me on the Labudo Network where I interview some celebs and other well-known YouTubers. And pretty much, seek wisdom, practice humility, and always stay sucker free, yeah?
No doubt. Yeah, Rush, he got a good pulled up there a couple of times and stuff. So you getting back, you're gonna have some more panels coming up soon, Rush?
Yeah, I will have some more panels soon. I've still been doing interviews, but I've been kind of busy lately, so I will start getting back into the momentum of doing more interviews and more panels,
All right, get your shit together, Rush. That last one we had was fun, man. What was that? Fuck the red pill one, or what was?
Yeah.
what was your man's name that was up there? That cat was funny, man.
Yeah. It was the red pill movement is dead. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. All right, Mel, where can we find you at? And parting words.
Mel _ I run on all social media platforms. Interesting conversation, a lot of different perspectives, but I believe overall, I just think we need to stop hopping on certain words and bandwagons and like cue words and like just live life the best and how it fits you and your situation, and stop worrying about what everyone else is doing and how they living their life, because every puzzle don't fit, every piece don't fit in every puzzle. Yeah.
You kind of fucked that up a little bit, but we got you.
Yeah.
You family.
I was reading something and talking at the same time.
I'm about to drop. Y'all have a good one.
All right, Scam. All right, Manning Genius.
I was about to shout out Scam on his Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
It was bullshit.
Nah, I mean, it just says it's just a theory that he had on people look to fulfill like lower level needs before fulfilling higher ones. It's theory, but I found it more interesting that it actually supports my point in that
he dipped off. He probably knew you had
that.
Yeah,
I know.
We gonna
His wife, Bertha Goodman Maslow, actually supported him financially, and while he studied. So they lived a traditional life, just with her being the provider. And
Big Bertha.
So everybody's relationship is unique.
Okay, good point.
Yeah. But yeah, you can find me on IG at the Manic Genius, and you can always find me on Manic Sophistication, the network. We jump on podcast with Prime on a couple other spots. Yeah.
All right.
I'll be around.
So I'll go ahead and close it up. But nah, thanks everybody for pulling up. Y'all know y'all always welcome here. We try to do this one every Tuesday and stuff. Definitely gonna start spending more time over there with you guys over there on Will's channel, and then also Dame. Whenever he gets his up and running, we always gonna come through, Dame. We know you busy though, man. You getting that bread and stuff. But yeah, we gonna jump on anything you have and stuff. And we're definitely gonna support Erica when you get yours rolling. Just let us know, and Rush also. But just giving a shout out to Mel and Erica. We definitely appreciate y'all coming up, because we do need more females perspective, I'll say, on these topics and stuff, to start creating that balance and stuff. So a lot of times the conversation, it's going to go to the path that it's going to lead to that neutral space and stuff. So I appreciate y'all. Sometimes it does get frustrating, but it's like, we gotta get there, because I think everybody is pretty much that be pulling up here has solid points, and it's very balanced and open to hearing different perspectives. So I appreciate y'all like definitely giving that feedback and stuff, because it's rare, So now we'll go ahead and close this out. Thanks everybody for pulling up, and see y'all next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Jump on the link. But anybody that's disrespectful, you might as well just keep it pushing. We're gonna keep respect here, have good, fun conversations. And if y'all have any topics y'all want us to break down, please let us know. We're gonna have to find that clip, Erica, so we can look at that video. We're gonna break that down.
I'm gonna find that clip.
Sophisticated Dirk, man, we got to do some reviews on the new season of Power when it comes out, man. Yeah,
yeah, we definitely doing that.
On what's his name, Kane? Kanan? No, not Kanan, but Kane.
I actually got a good topic on Power I wanted to put in there, so I don't know if y'all gotta get caught up. I got a subject I wanted to tackle on Power. So yeah, no doubt. We'll definitely do that.
Word out. All right, I'm down for that.
Okay, yeah, I'll hit you up. But all right, we'll go ahead and close this out. All right, y'all. Peace. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.